babes, welcome back to the second part of this lovely dress tutorial video. Thank you. Now let's get started. Go ahead and put your fabric on fold. Make sure to always iron before you cut. This is so that you'll be able to understand the kind of fabric you're working with. I'll start placing my drafted pattern on the fabric and pin, making sure that the center front is placed on fold. At this step, I added 1/2 inch sewing allowance. This is what I'll use to turn the clothes with the lining. The down part I'll be joining to the skirt, I added another 1/2 inch. For this side corona plain, I'm going to add 2 inch, and this is like my sewing allowance. At the armhole area, I didn't add much, just like 1/2 inch. I'll go ahead and add the same sewing allowance to the side front and roll out the line. My armhole, I just added 1/2 inch. Once I'm done adding all my sewing allowance, I'll go ahead and cut. After cutting, you'll have 1 piece of the center front, 2 pieces of the side front, and 2 pieces of the back piece. Then go ahead and cut the lining pieces using the pieces you just cut out. Like, everything is going to be exactly. I went ahead to cut the front skirt. I already added allowance to the pattern block, so I just added 0.5 inch all round. This is so as to enable me sew the lining and the lace as one piece. At the hem of the skirt, I left about 3 inches of the lace. This is for beautification though, and the lace fabric has a very beautiful trimming, so I didn't want to hem. So I went ahead and cut the back piece the same way I did with the front piece, but this back piece is going to be cut into 2, as in I'm going to have 2 pieces of the lace and 2 pieces of the lining. So what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting out the soft wadding. I want the bust area to be firm before adding the bra cup, so this is why the soft wadding is used. So I'm going to cut it exactly at the under bust length, and the soft wadding was also placed on fold for the center front piece, while for the side front piece it's going to be cut into 2, like 2 pieces of it, but I'm just using one of it to cut so that it will be easier and faster. So after this, I'll go ahead and use my hot iron and press the soft wadding to the fabric to make it one, and then I'm going to go ahead and stitch all of it together with the 0.5 inch sewing allowance that was added. This is the final look of the bustier. So it's notice how the curve is already cupping, and I went ahead to do the same for the lining piece of my off-shoulder bustier. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim off every excesses I have on the already sewn bustier. So I'm also going to trim the inner excess, and then I'm going to notch everything. So this is what I'm doing right now. So be careful when you are trimming this part so you don't mistakenly cut your fabric. I'll do the same for the lining piece. Go ahead and place the front side of the lining facing the front side of the crepe fabric. That's front side facing each other. At the top, stitch with 0.5 inch seam allowance, just the way you see me demonstrating. Once that is done, top stitch the lining and turn everything to the good side. It will look this way. I'll go ahead and fix my bra cup by hand tacking it to the wrong side of the crepe fabric. If you want a detailed tutorial on this, please drop a request in the comment section. Let's work on the front part of the skirt. What I'm doing here is I'm opening both the lining and the lace fabric so I can run a stitch at the side just the way I'm demonstrating. This is to make the 2-piece one. After that, I'll go ahead and place my front bustier that I've sewn together and then stitch at the area where my hand is demonstrating. So I'm going to make this 2-piece as one. So I'm going to place the front side to the front side and then stitch them at one. But for the back part of the dress, I attach it singularly, that is lining to lining and my fashion fabric to my fashion fabric. What this means is that I'm going to sew the lining separately from the lace because I want to have a very neat finishing at the zipper area. I'm marking 7 inch downward from my half length for my zipper. For illustration purposes, I had to use my lining, though the lace fabric is where I'll be attaching the zip. I also went ahead to use hair stay around the area where the zip will be fixed on the lace. So guys, I went ahead to fix the zipper. Then I used the lining to turn the lace fabric up to the vent area. This way I'll have a very neat finishing. So BF, this is how your back piece is supposed to look. I mean, if you follow this step by step, you should achieve this effortlessly. But if you're still having any problem and you want me to clarify, please drop a comment on the comment section or request for a more detailed tutorial and I'll do another tutorial video. We've successfully joined all the pieces together. Now we have the full front piece and the full back piece. Let's impute our bodies, starting with the vertical measurement, half length to hips, half length to knee. So these same markings will be taken on the other side of the skirt, and then go ahead and divide your hips by 2. Mark the answer you get. Take the measurement of whatever is left and divide it by 2 again. That's your allowance, and then mark it on both ends. So for instance, if it's 3 that is left, divide by 2. That's 1.5 on each side. Go to the waist area and divide the waist by 2 and do exactly the same thing I did with the hips. And I'll use my free hand. You could also use your curve ruler if you choose to, but I decided to use free hand. Remember when we were drafting our pattern, we said we are going to take our hip measurement and place on our knee measurement. That's exactly what we are going to do here. So I'm going to mark it out, and then whatever is left, divide it by 2 and share it. With my free hand, I'll go ahead and connect my hip line to the knee line. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm going to do this on both sides, and this is going to go down to the hem. For the bust area, usually I flip my cloth to the good side and divide the bust by 2 and mark. Whatever allowance is left, I'll flip it back to the wrong side and mark out the allowance. Please watch the video carefully, you will understand what I'm saying. Once I'm done with this, I'll go ahead and connect all my lines and then take it to my machine and sew a straight line down. For this dress, I'll be using an elastic off-shoulder stylish bishop sleeves. So guys, cut the sleeves with me. From the top of my fabric, I'll come down by 3 inches. This 3 inches is where I'll create a ruffle design with my elastic. I'll go ahead and rule out a line, so I'll make it obvious for you guys to see. From the 3 inches, I'll go ahead and mark the sleeve length, which in my case is the length of the fabric, though I would have preferred it longer if I had more fabric. Next, I'll mark out 1 inch, which will be the seam allowance. Then go ahead and rule a line just as you see me do. Bring the armhole area of your dress and place in between the 3 inches and the 1 inches respectively. Once I'm able to get it to fit in, I will go ahead and use my chalk and cuff out the armhole from my dress while my dress is still placed on it. Then I'll go ahead and trim off the frayed part of the material. Once I'm done with that, I went ahead to cut the armhole of the sleeve. Sleeve was on fold. A total of 62 inches was folded. So I'll go ahead and split it into 2. That's 31 inches. So that means we have 2 sleeves for both hands. So right now, we're going to go ahead and work on 1 sleeve. So I'll further put it on fold. So I went ahead to fold 1 piece of it so that I can replicate the armhole. So this is what I'm going to be working on right now. I'm going to measure the upper armhole area so that I can cut the elastic that will be needed. I'll go ahead and take out the down part of the sleeve too and cut out an elastic. I'm using the 1 inch elastic for the upper side and ½ inch elastic for the lower side of the arm. So just as you see me do, I'll go to my machine and sew it. Went ahead to sew the elastic on the sleeve, leaving at least ½ inch at the upper side and 1 inch at the lower side for hemming. While stitching, make sure to stretch the elastic very well. Emphasis on very. If the elastic isn't enough, please go ahead and add more. Also, I hemmed the upper and lower part of the sleeve before fixing the elastic. From the lower part of the elastic to the hem of the sleeve, I got 6 inch, which is what I just confirmed. While the upper part, what was left was 1/4 inch after serging and hemming. Now, go ahead and turn the sleeve to the wrong side and sew. After sewing on the 1 inch hemming allowance I kept, so guys, this is the final look of the sleeve. So I'll just go ahead and attach it to the dress. So this is the final outfit, and see how sweet and lovely our dress is looking. Remember, I told you guys I used 1 inch elastic at the upper part of the sleeve, while the lower part I use ½ inch elastic. Thank you so much guys for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications so that you'll be the first to be notified whenever I upload a video, and drop any question in the comment section. I'll make sure to answer all of your questions.